There are two ways I like to show up in my world. Perfectly or not at all. Women, can any of you relate? I suspect that some of the men can relate also, but I will not ask for a show of hands. For Toastmasters, this means when I prepare a speech, I memorize it, I write it, I edit it, I redraft it. And this is fabulous if I have a whole bunch of time. But I was really challenged with this project because as I was looking back and forth between my to-do list and my schedule and the holidays and the kids, I didn't have the time. And I thought several times about emailing Lisa and looking for a way out. But instead, I found a way in. And my way in was to choose to allow this project to be imperfect. Madam Chairperson, Toastmasters, and the ton of honored guests we have today, please bear with me as I share the purposely in process of how I challenged myself to complete this project and how it all ended up coming together and how done beats perfect all day long. So perfection is something I notice in all facets of my life. It shows up in my business, it shows up in my clients' lives, it shows up in my parenting, it shows up in my marriage, and it shows up in my yoga practice. And do you know how I can tell if I'm trying to be too perfect? I don't enjoy that area of my life anymore. I start to feel unhappy and stressed. I start to feel dissatisfied. So when I started to feel unhappy about having a speech due on Tuesday, I decided to surrender my need for perfect. And this is really ironic because it happened in a tempestuous car ride. So, 30 minutes to the doctor. My son is sick, my kids are off school, and I'm trying to work. And my son is not sleeping in the night because he has an ear infection. So we are driving in the car to the doctor, and he's been at the day home, and he is whining. Mommy, I forgot my toy. Mommy, turn the car around. Mommy, crying. My 9-year-old is sitting in the front seat, rolling her eyes. Ugh, little brothers. Ugh, why do I have to come? Ugh, it's too far. And my other daughter is sitting in the back complaining that her iTouch doesn't work because there's no Wi-Fi in the car. And in this moment, I just put on those noise-canceling headphones in between the fighting, the crying, the complaining. I just thought, accept it. It is what it is. This is your life, real life, imperfect, busy, messy, and chaotic. So it really got me to thinking about the whole concept of perfection and whether it hinders us or helps us. And what I really came to the grips with was perfection takes us out in one of three ways. With perfection, we either wait for perfect and we never begin, or we don't enjoy the process, or we stop connecting. So if we wait for perfect before we show up, we never show up. How many of us are waiting for the right time to write our next speech? The right time to join a gym? The right time to find our goals? It's like that. I remember seeing this sign in a bar once that said free drinks tomorrow. We're all waiting for tomorrow to begin, and we are not beginning. And then there's the fact of we put so much pressure on ourselves internally that the process no longer becomes fun. Our natural internal state is of joy and play. And when we are connected, we are the most inspired and the most creative that we can be. And if we disconnect in the process, we may still achieve our goals, but the cost is our happiness. We will always achieve with this sense of something being missing. And it brings me to that place where the light at the end of the tunnel is not the illusion, it's the tunnel. Relationships. How many of us go to, I'm fine? Men, do we get that? When your wives say they're fine, are they? It is so much easier to say I'm fine than it is to ask for what we want or express a need. You know, it's hard to admit hurt feelings and struggle. But when we start concealing and start pretending, we stop connecting. We lose intimacy. We lose connection. We lose power. It takes a lot of energy and life force to suppress our emotions. And it takes a lot of courage to show up wholeheartedly, accept our imperfections, and to love each other anyways, and ourselves. Growth is not a perfect process. You know, we have to recognize our patterns and transcend them in order to move forward. And whether our obstacles are Tanis, procrastination, perseverance, Percy, comfort, Raina, perfection, me, it's in showing up despite our challenges that we become able to overcome them. Every speech that I have completed within this program has taught me something about myself. And it was not whether or not I showed up exactly as I had hoped to. What I learned is that if I show up and it goes well, I feel great. And if I show up and I miss the mark, I feel lousy. But at least I'm here, and I'm playing the game. Life, Toastmasters, relationships, these are not pass-fail events. Right? It's not the human condition. Being human is not about being perfect. Being human is about playing, creating, experiencing. So let us put down the shield of perfection. Let us embrace what is, find our flow, create our fun, and connect to one another as the perfectly imperfect beings we all are.